Welcome to the Morning Sanity Check, where we talk about the different pillars of resilience: spiritual, physical, social, and mental. Join us so we can talk about it, then be about it. Let the show begin.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Sanity Check. My name is Seth.
And I'm Camille.
Yes, and we're here to help you out to make sure everything that you're doing is in line with resilience. Right on? So, Camille, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a beautiful Saturday. It's a little chilly down here, but, we're making it. It's good. How about yourself?
You know, it's all right. I woke up a couple of days ago on the couch and my neck was hurting then, and it's still hurting now. And I did all the exercises and try to and put the heat on it, but it just ain't right. I don't know what's going on, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're there, just say hey, shout out, let us know that you're alive and it's a good morning for you, right? And make sure you're sharing this, because this is going to be an outstanding show, ladies and gentlemen. What we're talking about is helping versus enabling. Okay, so last week, we talked about owning our happiness and what that looks like. And then we kind of tiptoed around other individuals messing with your happiness, right on. And so what it did was generated another conversation that we wanted to dive in today. So good morning, everyone. Good morning. Please, I encourage you, let your friends and family know that you're watching the Sanity Check and what we're talking about, because sometimes people don't get that good news until they hear from somebody else. Let us be the vehicle to speak that truth, right on. So, Ms. Camille,
yes, sir.
How do you feel, first of all, before we go into the definition and everything, but how do you feel about the helping versus enabling? How have you battled with that?
I've battled with it a lot, to be honest, whether it's friends or family or whatever, even people that I work with, having to figure out when to say enough is enough. And it can be very, very hard because it taxes on your emotions. We're social beings. We want to help people out. We don't want to see people, die or, fail or anything like that. But when we do that, we rob them of their opportunities to grow as well. Oh, yeah. So it took me a long time. Took me a long time because I'm a helping person by nature. But at some point I had to say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. It's not benefiting you or me. Yeah. And so I'm gonna let you figure it out.
Right. So. Yeah. And I dig that. And part of my issue was being able to just letting someone suffer and seeing them suffer. At first it's like, I don't want them to, but I'm preventing you from growing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And probably, listen, that's a part of life that I won't be able to, give to you, to teach you. You almost need to feel that heat on that stove that I kept keeping you away from because it was hot. See, some people don't believe fat meat is greasy, you see. So if you don't believe fat meat is greasy, go ahead. You see what I'm saying? And check it out for yourself. But go ahead and jump up in there. What's the definition of that?
So the definition, you guys might have saw it on the post that Seth put up, but two different things, right? So enabling is doing something for somebody who can and should be doing it for themselves. All right. And oftentimes we do that. It's something that somebody could do, but we just jump in and do it. That's enabling. Helping, on the other hand, is really supporting their choices that lead to recovery and wellness. Or on the other hand, doing something for someone who is unable to do it physically or mentally or whatever, unable to do it for a temporary period. All right. So those are the differences between enabling and helping. Yeah. And a lot of times we enable without actually understanding that we're doing that while we're thinking we're helping. Right. So, So what about you, Seth? I mean, I know you always have your own spin on what's enabling is, or whatever the word is for the day. So what would you say in your words? Because I like to hear your little, your wordsmith.
Well, basically the whole enabling piece to me is pretty much you're doing something for someone, like you said, when they are completely capable of doing it for themselves, right? And so it comes a point in time when you kind of need to chill on out and see what they got going on and what they did to put themselves in that situation. And why are they still there? But helping individuals to your same point is being able to really do something for someone that can't do it for themselves, or they're just not able to at that time. So you're being a good wingman, if you will. Say, okay, look, I got you, no problem.
Yeah,
like this, I got you right now. Now don't keep on coming around. So that's how I see that, and that's how I had to grow in maturity when it comes down to that, right? Like how to separate the two and realize when there may be some manipulation going on.
Yes, and we will talk about that. But as we get in, I'm gonna jump in and talk about enabling. So when a person is enabling somebody, they're always trying to fix something. They're trying to solve the problems, take away all the consequences, as we said before, which stifles a person's ability to grow, to think critically, to be able to, find what it is that really works for them. Because oftentimes when we enable people, when things don't go wrong, then they want to blame us. Oh, well, you told me to do this, or you did this, or whatever the case may be. And they don't ever feel the consequence of their actions. So we don't want to do that. So it can kind of manifest in like a few different ways, but it's usually supporting bad habits or harmful addictions and things like that. And when I say addictions aren't just like drugs. People think about drugs and alcohol and things like that. But it could be anything from shopping habits or gambling habits or, things that they just want to have but can't afford, so it's habits can be, and addictions can be some of anything that you do excessively and outside of what you're supposed to be doing or are capable of doing. So it could be something like, you have those times where you've given people money. They say, oh man, I can't pay my rent. Can I borrow $500, $600, $800? I get you back on the back end. It's like, well, why can't you pay your rent? Because I just saw you turn it up 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? And then as soon as you give them the money, then they turn it up again. And you're like, hold on, you turn it up on my money that I just gave you for your rent? Or did you already have some money? You know what I mean? And then if you say something about it, they get upset, right? But anyway, it could be like making excuses for your friends, so other people don't judge them. Especially if it's like physical abuse and things like that. It could be hiding bruises and things like that out of fear of retaliation. It could be taking over someone else's responsibilities. So many things. And we'll talk about the consequence of that for the giver as well in a minute. But if you're not sure, if you're an enabler, there's some questions that you can ask yourself. And I'm just going to go through a couple of questions, and it's stuff like, go ahead.
No. I want you to get to those, but before I do, I want to make sure we take some time out for our sponsors. But ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the helping versus enabling, and we're going to get into those type of questions that you can ask yourself. And also, I want you to think about the individuals that you are helping and enabling, and it's a difference between friends and family. Okay, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Integrity Consulting and Professional Services, LLC, is a minority, female-owned, nonprofit management consulting agency located in Humble, Texas, north of Houston. The owner, Jackie Dozier, has over 36 years of nonprofit and for-profit business management experience. She can take your idea from thought to manifestation while offering a myriad of services to help you successfully manage your business along the way. Her services include state filing anywhere in the United States, getting your employee identification number and 501c3 tax determination, providing cooperative and service agreements and mandatory documents, one-on-one grant writing training and consultation, board and staff development, and more. Ms. Dozier's clients include the U.S. Departments of Health and Human Services, the Administration of Children and Youth, U.S. and Caddo Parish, Louisiana Departments of Education, and the list goes on. References are available. Check her out on our Facebook page, Integrity Consulting and Professional Services LLC, and contact her by email at integrityconsultingpsllc@gmail.com. Rates are competitive. Say you heard about her on Sanity Check for a 5% discount. ICPS, providing all of your small business and grant writing needs with integrity and professionalism.
All right, everybody. Hey, welcome back to another Sanity Check. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about enabling versus helping, okay? Enabling versus helping. So if there's individuals that you know that's struggling with this and that have been for years, tap them on the shoulder and say, friend, hey, look. Hey, you might want to listen to the Sanity Check, right on. But look, I want to say good morning to everyone that's out there. Everyone, hey, what's going on, Miss Crystal? How you doing? How you doing, ma'am? How are you? Hey, and of course, big old Mama there. There we go. Hey. So go ahead to your point, Camille. You was talking about the questions to ask yourself.
Absolutely. So I know some people were asking last week, like, how do you know? And here's some questions that you can ask yourself to kind of clarify whether you're helping or enabling. So if you're ignoring, you can ask yourself, am I ignoring unacceptable behavior? Which means that I see my friends going out there all the time and they're reckless with their money and stuff like that. But yet every time they come to me, I'm giving them money. Am I ignoring that unacceptable behavior without, confronting the issue and just giving them the money? Or am I saying something? If you're ignoring it, probably enabling. Do you find yourself resenting? Here's the one that I really, really had a problem with. When people would ask me to do something and I knew that I was enabling them, I would feel resentful. I would do it, but I felt resentful. I would get angry, like, why are they always asking me to do it? I really don't want to do this thing that they asked me to do. And I found that I was doing it begrudgingly. And somebody told me, anything that you do out of obligation is a lie anyway. And I'm like, this is true. I didn't want to do it.
So hold on. Let's take a step back. You said you was doing it what now?
Begrudgingly.
Okay. And I heard you, but I wanted you to say it again for those in the back, because I don't think they understand what that means, right? Because you can have a heart of giving, but you're giving like, oh, I don't want to do this. Listen, the first drop of I don't want to, that's your sign. What you waiting for? So what you're doing is you're trying to convince yourself to do it, even though everything around you is saying, "Boo,
I don't want to."
Stop doing what. Okay, but go ahead.
Yes, and that's true. And that's that resentful, feeling that you get because you really don't want to do it anyway, or that this is just one of 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention to those feelings. I know a lot of people that are givers, they constantly put themselves aside for other people. Right. You know what I mean? If they have something going on and somebody who they've been enabling, I need you to do this. Please, can't nobody do it for you? Even though they may have something that they've already planned or they had some things that they wanted to do, with that time, they'll put it aside just to help somebody else. And you can't neglect yourself. You know what I mean? You still have to take care of you because people will suck you dry. We always talk about those, vampires that suck you. They will suck the life out of you. Right. But, you'll know because they'll keep coming back because you keep giving them your neck. Right?
You keep giving them the neck. But then, it's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. But we need to really think about this, though, ladies and gentlemen. We need to think about who are we helping?
Exactly.
What I mean by that is, and I know we talked about this a little bit, but are you helping them because they need the help? Or are you really helping yourself because you need to help some damn body? Right. Come on now. So the thing is, you would rather help someone versus help yourself. And in a roundabout way, they will always be in some type of debt to you. All right. So you will have something over their head. And, it's almost like a hierarchy type of thing. But what is it about you that you say, you know what, I always got to help this person out? Look, they always coming to me. Really? Why? So it's like, yeah, you can stop them if you wanted to, but is it something about you that like them sucking on you dry?
Yes.
Come on now. Hey,
Yeah.
it might hurt some feelings, but it's okay. This is Sanity Check. We're doing it out of love, right on? What you think about that? What you think
Well,
about that?
Well, that's true. And that gets to another point where we talk about that codependency. There's a codependency that goes along with enabling. Okay. And people often don't understand that. They're kind of like, I'm just trying to help this person. I just want to make sure they're good. I don't want to do this. But you have to understand what codependency and enabling is. Yeah. And it really is like, it's being, you're taking on your friends or your family members like dysfunctional behavior, right? And that is what drives your satisfaction.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. So say that I think see the reason why I stop you, not because it ain't making sense. It's making so much sense that it might go right past somebody's face. You see? So say that again about individuals. What's happening?
So it basically, their dysfunction, it drives your satisfaction. There are people that thrive off of other people's problems, and they really want to be like the savior. You know what I mean?
To her point, look at that. Self. We are not the Messiah. See?
Self, yes, we are not. We are not. And so there's some things that, you can look at. And I love to help people, you know what I mean? And I would always be like, well, I don't want nobody to feel like, I didn't help them or I wasn't there for them. And so I would put all of my needs aside. And then I would find myself being, resentful towards them. But I'm like, I don't want nobody to think that I ain't a good person. So, I'm just going to keep helping. I wasn't thriving off of it, so to speak, but maybe kind of at a point, you know what I mean? And it's dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional for you and for them. So it's some signs and symptoms that I just kind of want to, behaviors that I want to give to you guys that will help you determine whether you're codependent on those who you are enabling. And those are, you feel responsible for other people's well-being. Like you feel responsible for their decisions, their behaviors, or whatever. If you don't step in and do it, then they will do something else, in return. And, I don't want them to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to give them whatever it is that they need. You always want to help people solve their problems to make them feel better. You feel responsible for doing that. Like their happiness is your problem, or you can fix their happiness. You can't do it. We talk about it all the time. And last week that it's an inside job. You get angry when other people are wrong, and then you personally face the injustice. So you standing up all the time for other people. You feel safe and secure and comfortable when you're giving constantly, even sometimes at the expense of yourself. You feel like guilty sometimes. Here's the thing about guilt, right? So people want to take you on a guilt trip, especially enabler. I mean, people that are basically sucking the life out of you, that you're enabling. And the time that you don't give them what they want, then they want to put you on a guilt trip. But guess what? The thing about guilt trips are you can choose whether you want to go on the journey or not. Don't go on the guilt trip journey. You're giving and you have been given and given and given and given. And they want to just act like you haven't done anything at the first no, even when you didn't have it. I'm not going on that guilt trip. I know that I've done so much at this point, and I just kind of be like, And yes, codependency is an addiction, and that's that thriving off of. So you'll find certain people that are enabling people, they're constant enablers. And a lot of times it's because of that very thing that you just said. It's an addiction. That's how they feel useful. That's how they feel validated. That's where they get their self-worth and self-esteem from, is the ability to help other people. But it's not good.
Got you. So the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the difference between helping and enabling, and how to help yourself, and also the signs that you are doing one or the other. And the key is to understand where the motives are. And what I would like to kind of or not necessarily understand or talk about, but just want to drop this on you as far as how the individuals that love and trust you use that and take advantage of you, and how you can, set those boundaries. That's one of the main things, is what we're talking about, being able to set those boundaries and being okay, because your boundaries, ladies and gentlemen, is a representation of your standards. So if you don't set those boundaries or standards, individuals are going to be habitual standard crossers. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't set nothing in concrete. Watch this. You set it in sand. You feel me? Or better yet, you set it in snow. So what happens is it'll melt and it ain't there no more. So you have to keep putting something out there. How about you set it in concrete?
Yes.
But then set it with love. You have to set it with love. Say, hey, look, I love you. I don't want to see you go through this, but this is your life. All right. And even when it comes down to our children, hey, I am not a believer in these boomerang babies. That's me personally. Look here, when you get out, it ain't no, hey, my fault, I jacked up. Let me come on home. No, wait a minute. Let's work it out. You understand? But I want to be able, because I love you, I'm going to make sure that you have everything that you need. But I need to give you what you need for life. You get what I'm saying? So that you can, and it's not to come on back and get in my basement so you can recuperate. No, I need you to hurt a little bit. You get what I'm saying? So what do you think about the enabling and helping grown children?
Well, I have grown children of my own. So I've had to, I sent my daughter out there at 18 in the world. And she did all right. She did all right, but she found her way back home. But in my teaching, she knew that she couldn't come home without a job. Mm-hmm. So when she told me that she was coming back home, she was like, but Mom, I already got a job. I already went on my interview. I got hired and I'll be back. And so I'm like, okay,
But she had a plan.
She had a plan because she knew that she just couldn't come home and just leech off of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so she got a job and, she had a car and she took care of the things that she could take care of. And I made her responsible to pay her part of the rent and utilities and things like that. And then at one point she kind of stopped and I didn't say anything. But one day she just came to me and was like, Mom, I'm moving out. And I was like, oh, when? It was on a Tuesday. She was like, on Thursday. I was like, what? She was like, I already went and found the apartment. I got a new job. I've been saving the money that I wasn't giving you, so that exactly. Right. But she was like, I've been saving the money that I wasn't giving you so that I can have the money that I needed to move out. And she's been gone and she hasn't asked for anything. So, it's giving them those tools. And so I'm a believer and I'm not going to let my child be homeless,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to come home with consequences and rules and boundaries. And there are some things that you have to do,
Mm-hmm.
getting a job, figuring out this whole budget. Her and I sat down with a whole budget and everything to make sure that she was prepared. So the next time she went out there, it'd be a longer stint before she came back home. If she came back home, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't want her to come back.
I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. And so it also, one thing too that we need to make sure that we do, friends or family, hey, if you are truly helping the person, help them with conditions, but still unconditional love. Absolutely. What I mean by that is, hey, you wouldn't be able to go to the bank and say, hey, look, I know your mama. Look out for me. You get what I'm saying? And the bank say, "Oh yeah, you right. Here's $100." No, look. First of all, let's look at your payment record. Okay, let's see what you're able to give back. Okay, and then watch this. I want it back. Now, if you're in a position when you can just give it and forget it, but don't say nothing about it. But if you're giving it, give it, but also put some teeth behind it. Even when people are coming to stay with you, don't, hey, look, you could just stay here till you get on your feet, but I need you out of here such and such a day, and don't get comfortable. You see what I'm saying? Realize this. If individuals are expecting something from you or wanting something from you, they abide by your rules. You don't abide by their rules, see, because they came to you. You dig it? It's not the other way around. So watch out, like you were saying earlier, and like Camille was saying earlier, watch out for the manipulations, because people will guilt you into like, look, I can't do this. Well, You could if you wanted to. Let's look at what got you in that situation. You see what I'm saying? Now we want to have that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we also have to realize that when we give money like that, or give whatever it is, that you have to give it with the expectation that you won't get it back. And if you're giving your very last and you're depending on that money for, your livelihood, or to pay your mortgage or your car note or whatever, you already put yourself in a bind, because you can't get blood from a turnip, right? You can't get money from somebody who won't willingly give it to you. You can't access their bank and take it. So then you become resentful again, but they keep doing it. They'll come back because the next time, even though they didn't pay you. So I remember when I was talking about that bank, my mom had put on their Bank of Camille's clothes, and I was like, where can you go? Ask for a loan, not pay it back, or get a loan at no interest, not pay it back, then come back to again, ask for another loan, get that loan interest free without having to pay a penalty for the first loan that you got, not pay that back, and then come back. Where they do that at?
See?
You couldn't go to a bank and do that, but you expect for you to be able to come to me, and then you want to put me on a guilt trip. No, I just gave you a whole month's salary that I had to work all of these hours for. And you just you don't even care. Like it doesn't even matter to you.
Right.
So I've learned that if you can't give it without it hurting you, don't give it.
That's right.
Give it with the expectation that you won't get it back. If you ever do get it back, that's a bonus. But then you can't continue the behavior that allows them to keep coming back, and you continue to enable them, and then you're resentful. Well, dummy, stop giving.
That's right. Right. And so that's what we do. And that's what leads me to the next point. So we need to ask ourselves, where does the buck stop? Where does it stop? So basically, what is your negotiating boundaries? We have to understand that, if you are going to do something for someone, realize that if you are helping them out, you're helping them out to a point, right? You ain't got to take them all the way around. Look, you can help them by just showing them directions. As a matter of fact, how about this, ladies and gentlemen? And look, shout out to y'all that's just tuning in. Please share this and make sure that you let everybody know that that you're watching Sanity Check, and also let us know where you're at. We love to see that. But another thing that you can do, and it help. How about if someone is asking you, how do you do this? Can you do this for me? Blah blah blah. Is nothing wrong with saying Google it.
Yes.
Hey. Go ahead, because listen, chances are I might Google it first to make sure I'm giving you right information. So if you are contacting me on my smartphone, chances are your phone just as smart as mine. So how about we use our phone and not let our phones use us, okay? And go ahead and Google what you want to ask me, and then you might get more information and different information that's going to apply to you, right? So don't be afraid to say, you know what? I don't have the time right now. However, if you go on and Google it, watch this. Watch this. If you go to YouTube, you can watch it, okay? So do that, but understand setting those boundaries may be something that simple as go ahead and look it up.
Absolutely.
What you think about that?
So that's what I do. So even at work, I tell my troops and stuff when they come ask me questions, they got so used to it because I'd be like, okay, well, what did you find? Where did you look? And so then they'd be like, I'm like, don't come in here and ask me a question that you have not put any effort for, towards to do it. So I'd be like, okay, well, tell me what you did. Did you go through A, B? Okay, come back and let me know. When you've exhausted all of your means, then come back and I'll walk you through the process, or I'll help you. And oh, by the way, I'm not doing it for you. I would always say, pop a squat. Squat, pull up a chair, and I'm going to walk through this with you. So the next time you know exactly what to do. Oh, and by the way, when you do the research for yourself, as my mom always used to tell me, you'll find so much other stuff. You'll be looking for one thing, but you'll find tons of other stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to enable you. I'm going to teach you how to find the information that's going to help you for yourself. So I do that all the time. And then the other thing is I had to start telling people, I don't want to be your plan A, B, C, D, or E. Come to me when it's on plan F, that means you've done a lot of the work on your own and you
Mhm.
absolutely cannot
Mhm.
figure it out
Mhm.
anymore. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I was like, I don't want to be that first, second, third, fourth plan. I really, really need for you to figure out how to do it on your own. Because some people, like they say, I didn't get it until I hit rock bottom. Sometimes that's what it takes,
Yeah.
because you have to figure out how to climb yourself out of whatever hole you done dug for
There you
yourself.
go.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I need to let you do
Yes.
that.
And you know, and you're absolutely right. You have to do that, and you also too have to be okay. Like I was saying earlier, you
Yes.
have to be able to see the difference between a person that needs help and a person that you're enabling. And then I know I brought up the children, but even family members, we
Mhm.
may see individuals that we grew up with, and you know, they see, you know, you can still see him as a little kid, like, you know what, he just slow, you know, he just don't get it, you know. Listen, now that cuteness is damn near 50 years old. So now what you're doing? Okay, listen, stop with your grown daughter or your grown niece.
Yes.
Look, wait, watch this. Check this out. And I might be talking to somebody out there. Y'all be okay, right? Because this is all in love. But if you know somebody, y'all, that's constantly putting them, watch this, putting themselves in out of line situations, but then they keep coming back to you. When do we have that conversation and say, hey, look, I can go on the calendar and show every time you did A, you got B, and then you see me. You dig it? Watch this. I'm gonna say it again.
Uh-huh.
You do A, B happens, and then you see me.
I like it.
Watch this. How about stop doing the A? So B won't happen, right on. But if you don't even want to have that conversation, you need to say that to yourself. Self, what's going on? You see that? Yeah, I see it. Do you see it? I see it. Let's stop. You feel me? Because if you don't, they won't. It's like a thief, right? A thief is going to continue to steal until they get caught. Some
Yes.
people are going to continue to steal your time, joy, money, and happiness, right? Until you have no more or the buck stops.
Absolutely. I don't even want to be C though, to be honest. You know how they say them five whys? I need
Yeah.
you to dig a little bit deep, because
Mhm.
some people will do the bare minimum just
Oh,
to say they did something,
yeah.
so that they can come see you.
Yeah.
That's why I said I don't want to be A, B, C, D, E.
Mhm.
Come to me about F, when you said, F it,
Yeah.
I done done everything I can. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But I need for you to do some digging,
Mhm. Mhm.
before you come. And then
Mhm.
another thing I was going to say really is like a lot of people who are the ones that are trying to get whatever. You have to be aware of the manipulation. You have to be aware, and you have to be aware of your own feelings about it too. If
Mhm.
it don't feel right, because people, they will give you some good lines, boy. I
Oh,
tell you,
yeah.
like the world is just ending, and make you feel like it was your fault, and they will manipulate your feelings and your relationships, and the closeness that you had, or maybe that one time that 15 years ago when you had to borrow $20 for something. They will manipulate that, and oh, I was there for you when your baby needed a can of milk. You be like, okay, I gave you like 500 times worth of cans of milk since then. So don't let them manipulate your feelings. Have some, or I will say, try to pray for or ask for, or whatever your thing is, some discernment in that, to see when people are BSing you, you know what I mean? That you can call them out on that and say no, because truth of the matter is, I just posted a thing on the sanity check about the power of your mind. You are where you are because of your choices in life.
That's right.
When you own that, you can change that.
Mm.
And until you own that, you'll always be in that same place and a victim. You can say, I can make better choices in the way I spend my money and what I do with my time and who I'm around. It is your choice,
Yes.
period. Everything you do is a decision that you have made. What you've allowed is a decision. Now, there are certain things when you're kids and you're not, you don't understand these things. But
Mhm.
once you become an adult, your decisions, where you are, is directly proportional to the decisions that you've made in your life.
Absolutely.
So if you don't want to be there no more,
Mhm.
stop turning up. Stop
That's
spending
right.
your money on, alcohol you
Mhm.
can't afford. Stop
Mhm.
loaning your money out to other people, knowing that you would have to borrow it from someone else.
Mhm.
So you have to take responsibility for your own choices, and this is for the enabler as well.
Yeah,
You have
you're
to
absolutely
take
right.
responsibility for
Absolutely.
your own choices, because
Yes.
only you can change the situation that
That's
you're
right.
in. So.
And Big Herm, yes, you're absolutely right. And so listen, look, I don't care what you eating for breakfast. You know what? You out of line. Shout out to that Big Herm, right? Y'all, look, we're on the Lions Den, so check us out Sunday at 6:00, right? Central Standard. But look, guys, we're about to take a break for our sponsors. But again, we're talking about enabling versus helping. How are you doing that? Who are you doing it to? And are you getting done wrong? All right, we'll be right back.
If you're looking to buy or sell anywhere across the 50 states, contact Jamila Seals. Jamila is a realtor with Keller Williams Marquis who exudes credibility, commitment, and determination while serving the Metro East and Scott Air Force Base, Illinois areas. Her warm and friendly approach, combined with unparalleled communication skills and enthusiasm for helping others, allows her to connect and provide clients with the best possible service and experience. There are 3 things she does with and for her clients. First, negotiate deals for you. This means she'll treat your money like it's her money. Second, guide you through a simplified process, which means she'll provide sound advice to ensure you make an informed decision in identifying or choosing the right house for you. And last but not least, creative marketing. She'll provide a cutting-edge marketing plan that's tailor-made for you. Bottom line, she's going to get the job done properly and not let you down. So if you're searching for your new dream home, give Jamila a call today at area code 618-202-8751. Again, that's 618-202-8751.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sanity Check, and we're talking about the actual helping versus enabling, what that looks like, okay? And we're talking about the codependency, and shout out to everybody that's tuning in. We appreciate y'all, even Herm eating barbecue ribs for breakfast, Lord have mercy. But then we also see this: stop playing wifey for deadbeat men, and vice versa. Stop being a captain, save them to them, if you can dig it, right? If you don't know, Google it. You know what I'm talking about. But still, we need to be cautious of how we are spending our time. But it was something that I wanted to touch on a little bit when it comes down to the addictions.
Mhm.
Now, I'm going to use this one because it's older, not as old, but it's older. Let's say about 40-ish years old. Y'all, we're going to talk about crackheads, okay? We're going to talk about real good old, smart, cunning ingenuity of the crackheads, right? And the manipulation. This is the deal. The reason why I say that is because if we don't know them, we've seen them all around, and they're getting good, right? Because now they don't look like they used to look like no more, right? They've morphed into something different. But to that point, this is an individual that is clearly addicted to something. However, they can always sell you a dream that they're on the other side of whatever their addiction is. If you understand what I'm saying. Hey, Scooby, man, look, I just need $5. I'm about to get this suit for my hey, I'm about to get this suit for my interview. So I'm like, wait a minute.
A $5 suit?
$5 suit. Wait, what type of job you get? But before now, of course, it's just. But you would have those type of conversations because people would say certain things like, "Hey, well, look, I'm trying. Look, I didn't kick it. I ain't doing that no more. I got to let it go. But all I need is $1 for this bus ticket, so I can." Come on now. So now we need to, again, set those boundaries. But then to your point, Camille, when individuals are doing things over and over again, we need to become immune to the aroma of BS. If you can dig what I'm saying. See, you can smell it a mile away. Watch this. So on the first of the month, certain people get money first of the month.
It's the first of the month.
Right? Wake up. But now, this is the deal. What happens on the 7th of the month? Now, if your habits is out of line,
Yes.
you're going to start looking for those revolving doors, if you can dig it. So if you have been perpetuating a certain habit for the person that's addicted to whatever, it can be food, it can be sex, it can be their physical, you know what I mean? Look, I just need to go see my girl. Just hold my baby for a minute. I'll be right back. Give me 5 minutes. Ain't nothing happening for 5 minutes. But the deal is, when you start doing this over and over again, you start to smell like, okay, here they come.
Yep.
Now, when you get that in your head, when do you stop? You feel me? Now, what do you think about that, Camille?
No, we talked about that. It's a powerful word. You know what I mean? And just to Herman's point, crackheads wake up with no money, but they know they're going to get some crack that day. Don't be the fool that give it to them.
See, y'all stop being the crackheads for the crackheads. You dig? Because there is some addiction on your part.
There is. And that goes back to that codependency behavior. Yeah. And that is an addictive behavior, that, I'm everybody's savior. No, you don't have to be. Save your own self. You know what I mean? Save your own self, the resentment, the heartache, the headache, the broken relationships, the, staying in bad places where they ain't no good for you. I just don't want to be alone. So I'm going to stay with this bad, person who's abusing me and everything because I'd rather be with somebody than be by myself. Just stop. Just stop. And like my mom always tell me, and my mom taught me a lot of things growing up. But I used to be like, Mom, I don't know how, I can't do it. She said, just stop. You can just stop. You have the power just to stop. And I was like, and it seems so hard. I can't just do it. Yes, you can. And I've learned that. Yes, you can. You can just stop because you have complete power over your feelings, over your actions, over your behaviors, over what you will allow, what you will not, and that no, I'm not going to allow you to walk over me. Now you're going to feel something, but you can still just stop. Yeah, I'm going to change it. You ain't changing nobody who don't want to be changed.
Hey, I love that.
You don't got no power.
Right. Listen, check it out. And it's the same thing with the men. Listen, I'm going to change her into a housewife. Look, where did you find her?
Exactly.
Where did you how did you come on now? Let's look at some things. So there's individuals. Look at this nut. Look, there's individuals that have said, hey, I'm going to invest my time and energy to change this person's mindset so now they can be who I think they should be. Like, we're putting our love and energy for potential. Look, the potential is already there, but what about the willfulness?
That part of the person.
Where is that at? So individuals are going to show you how much will they have. Just watch them. Watch this. Look. Let's sit back. Hey, look at me like, okay.
Yes.
I say, look, if you really want something out of your life, you telling me you want this, I'm gonna watch and see what you gonna do with this.
Hello.
Watch this. What you gonna do with what you got? Lord have mercy.
That's that whole chasing happiness. I see it, and I'm gonna talk about what certain different addictions, not just like drug addictions or whatever. People want that stuff so bad, and I'm like, stuff don't make you happy, but they're so addicted to the stuff or the status or the perceived status or whatever that they'll do anything to get it. You know what I mean? They will do absolutely anything to get it. And then here we are, we mad at them. They doing what they do because that's who they are. You know what I mean? And we mad at them because we keep giving them the money and everything like that. And it's like, just stop. People with those things, you can stop if you take care of what you have.
Who should you be mad at?
Hello, you should be mad at yourself. But even for the person who's addicted, I just be like, you got all this stuff. What was wrong with the one thing you had? Absolutely nothing. But now you going in debt to get the next thing. You ain't even used that thing. Like, When do you say, okay, you know what, enough is enough? And you don't deserve anything if you can't take anything new, if you can't take care of what you already got. That's my own personal thing. I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm not paying for that. I'm not giving you money for that because you didn't need it anyway. I'm not going out of my way.
So that's another thing too. That's a real good transition. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are enjoying this, please give us some love, some hearts, right, and share this, please, because this is some good information. Please, please, we do ask you for that because this is some good word that individuals can use. I want you guys to also think about if you are, look, if you're giving and you're giving and you're giving, and individuals don't take what you give them as something beneficial. Like if you keep giving fishes, right, but you're not teaching them how to fish, then you can't be mad at what they do with your fish. Come on now. So the deal is you keep giving them this, you keep giving them whatever chances, and then when they take the chances that you give them and they still don't do what you think they should do with them, then what's the real issue here? You see, because then you will leave the situation feeling worse than you did in the first place.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we need to be cognizant of that in our motives, you know?
Yes. And it's a mind matter. You can teach somebody how to fish. And here's the other thing. You can find out if a person really, really wants help or if they just want to be enabled is if you give them all the tools. You've taught them how to fish. You know, you gave them a little fish to sustain them while I'm teaching you how to fish.
Mhm.
But then they know how to they have all the principles, they're doing everything. And then they come back with the same story because they haven't used the skills that you've taught them. You know that they don't really want help. They just want a handout. You know what I mean? They don't want to do the work to get what they want. They want to take the easy road and they just want somebody to give it to them. You know, they don't want to be responsible for having to do what it takes to get that thing and do it the right way. And there's so, yes, sir.
Check this out. But you got it. Look, you got it. You retired senior master, and you got it. Hey, watch this. Look at your house. You got it.
Just because I have it don't mean I have it to give to you. I work for that. You should do the same. Therefore, you can have as much as your budget will allow when you've done the work to get what you now you can have all of this and more if you put the work in. But just because I have it doesn't mean that I have it to give to you. When you're able-bodied and you could do the same thing. Like, I don't understand why people think that you were here on this earth to work for them. Like, I don't get it. I got a whole family. You never even asked me how my family was doing or if I needed anything. But when I say no, then all of a sudden, oh, you won't do me like that. You know, I got all these. Do you know what obligations I have? You count my pockets, but obviously you ain't counting yours.
See, so like, no. Absolutely. See, and we got individuals, even right now, individuals will real talk see what you're doing or see little things on Facebook or whatever, and they're counting your coins digitally. Okay, but this is the deal. They wasn't with you while you were grinding. They wasn't with you while you was. Did I ever talk about the cornbread? Did I talk about
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know about the cornbread, they ain't gonna get into it. But listen, folks love cornbread, but not everybody want to go shopping with you to get the ingredients. Not everybody want to get in the kitchen and sweat with you, right? But boy, when they come out the oven, they smell that cornbread, they like, hey, look, you got it. All I want is a little piece. Where was that little piece of time and effort that could have helped with this cornbread? You dig? And that's it. This is the crazy part. They probably had everything at their crib that could have made your cornbread better, but they watch this. They held it on to themselves see, and they didn't want to share their cornbread. Now they come to you and say, you want your cornbread? Yeah, I want my cornbread. I would have loved to share it with you, but look how you played me when I needed some help. But now you see my abundance of cornbread. Now you won't, if you don't get your silly self out my face, well, y'all. Get out my
And I can't even with Herman talk about them chitlins. No, sir. No, sir. Not.
Hold on.
You
No.
keep them at your house.
Look at here. Let me tell you something. No, we ain't gonna do it. You're trolling. You're trolling. We ain't talking about no chitlins. Listen, it's gonna make this whole scene smell bad. We ain't gonna do it. Okay. But seriously though. Yes. We do have those Facebook stalkers, and that's what people do. That's what people do. People do. They watch your coins and then they come at you. Yo, I see you got this. Boo, 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 boo.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, and then the other thing is sometimes, see, here's this thing, because I love to cook and bake. Anybody who knows me knows that I like to cook and bake. And it was my ex-husband that told me, you caught that.
Yeah. I was like, hold on, that's a long ass X.
Fortunately, he was a great cook. He was a great cook. And he always used to tell me, he said, look, if you're not going to do it with love, don't do it. And I'm like, huh? He's like, my grandmother always used to tell me that's the secret ingredient to everything is doing it with love. You can't put that, resentment in my cornbread. And then there's some people that'll just come over and they'll give you a little bit of sugar just to say that they gave you a little bit of sugar for that cornbread, but it ain't given with love. And you're not about to serve that at my table. You're not about to do that. So guess what? Go on with your little stinky sugar. I go to the neighbor who gives me, out of love, or who wants to come over and give because it's the right thing to do, or whatever. They eating some, so I'm gonna put a little 5. I'm gonna put 5 on it. I got 5 on it. You know what I'm saying? And then we can come and break bread together. But don't just do it because just to say that you did something so that you can get the return that's greater than what you gave
on the investment. You know what? Hold on. You
save that.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, again, if y'all just tuning in, we're getting ready to we are talking about enabling and helping people. But boy, this is some good news. This is some real good news that you can use right on, because there's individuals that will let you know, hey, you remember that time I took you to school when you was in the 3rd grade? Fool, if you don't get out my face. Look, you was grown then and grown now. So, you know what I'm saying? But we have to be cognizant of those individuals that's ready to sprinkle just a little bit, but they want the return on that little bit, but it's a whole lot that goes along with that. You get what I'm saying? So what Herman says, he says, I never remind people what I've done for them, and I expect that. Yes, and truly, if it comes from the right place, look, that's it. Because you know what you've done, right on. But to make individuals feel a certain way, look, I remember when you ain't have no sugar. Look, I came over and gave you a cup, and that's how you treat me. You ain't gonna let me borrow $100? No. I know you got it.
You didn't give me $100 worth of sugar.
Hey, watch this. I got it, but no, you get what I'm saying? And ladies and gentlemen, I know we've said this before, but just as a reminder, the word no requires no explanation. Okay, it requires no explanation. So let individuals know if it's not right with your heart and you're saying this to yourself, I really don't feel right by doing it. That is the first sign of no. Question is, how many signs you need to that no, right? You already know. And then watch this. If you go in and do it anyway, what you gonna say? I knew I shouldn't have did that. How many times you gonna say, I knew I shouldn't have? Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the family text. Sometimes it's a slap and sometimes it's a hug. But I need you to get your mind together, because we need to go into 2021 better than 2020. 2020 is already out of line. Still out of line. And it's still going, right? But let's not hold on to old habits and bring them into 2021. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And really with this helping, asking people the questions. Some people, they make it very, very hard for you to challenge. When you suspect that they're an enabler, they make it hard for you to challenge them. Like they'll be like, well, why are you asking me this? I said I was this and this and that. No, I'm really trying to get to the heart of the problem. You know what I mean? To see whether I'm helping you or I'm enabling you. What have you done? Sit down and walk me through this process. I remember at one point, somebody had asked me for some money. I said, well, I'm gonna send you a budget sheet. show me, how you spend your money. What's your expenses are per month. Show me all these things. And in my mind, it was like, because I need to see if there's some excess that can be cut out so that you can better, spend your money in the areas where it's required.
They don't want
that. They didn't want that.
No, it's like Dave Chappelle talking about the crackhead. I hate to talk about crackheads.
Right.
It was like, hey man, look, what you want? You want some food? He was like, look, man, I just want some crack. All right, I might get some fries, but I want some crack. So look, Camille, they don't want your budgeting expertise.
They don't. In Herm, they do Airman and Family Ready. This does it, and I think I do it better. Look, even the person there told me that I did. So I try to make sure that, I'm not responsible. Somebody else told me this, but you're still coming back over here to me. I need to know for myself that you got the information. And so the next time when you don't do what you're supposed to do, I can say no easily. So when I'm giving my money, then I'm going to make sure that, it's utilized or whatever, or it's just helping people out. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, what do you think about this? Because me and Lily talked about this recently. So people will gladly remind you of where you came from if you surpass them. Ooh.
So what? That's where I was, but look at me now.
But you know what I got a problem with, and that's the deal. Well, it's not necessarily a problem, but it's something that I've observed, right? If someone if they remember where you were at a certain point, watch this, ladies and gentlemen. If they remember that because they saw you, chances are it was there too. Uh-oh.
And they wonder how they still there and you done moved on.
Now, hey, we got choices in life.
Yes.
I decided to dance over here. It was a little harder, but I've gained some skills, right, that enabled me to live a certain way. But guess what? When that fork in the road was there, we was right there standing together. Right on. Listen, together. So now, if you remember me getting it in, acting out of line in the 90s, and now you see me now, you said, look, I remember when you was, you was with me, but come on now. So you deal with that.
So for me and my girlfriend, we're having Tosh, I don't know if she's on here or not, but me and her, we're having a conversation about that the other day. And when people do that, you be like, if I'm in the same place that I was at 24 as I am at 44, there's an issue. You should have grown during this time. And I always tell people, you cannot hold me prisoner to my past. We did the segment on freeing yourself from shame, and I had to do that. You can't tell me anything about me that I don't already know. I did it. And I'm over it. You know what I mean? I am a grown person. I had to go through some things to learn some things to get me where I am today. Mm-hmm. And when people bring that up and I'm like, okay, so your insecurities, I say your panties are showing. See? Your insecurities are showing. Ask me how I got here, or ask me if I can help you. Don't try to, sabotage and slander my name, because we all did something. Oh boy, I would love to have been a fly on the wall in your house. See? Even now, when you're trying to say something, when I know about your kids, I know about what you've been doing. I just haven't said it, but I'm like, okay. There's nothing you can tell me about me that I don't already know. Exactly. So when they say that, my mom used to say, I give you permission to lie on me. Mm-hmm. It takes that whole, that deflates somebody so quickly. You and I both know, and I am not that other meme that says, a lot of people know a version of me that no longer exists. Mm. And that's how I am. That's who I was then 20 years ago, but it's not who I am today. Mm-hmm. And who I am today is authentically me, regardless of all those things. And all of those things made me who I am. So you can say what you want to. We all have a history.
Listen, look, I'm so glad these camera phones wasn't around. Listen.
I got a lot of pictures though.
Hey, listen. Hey, show you right. Look, ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't always this polished, if you will. And look, I still got some growing and learning to do. You dig? Yes. But the thing is that there's things that we have to learn about ourselves and be able to grow from it. And I've said this before, and it was Sean Connery, rest his soul, that said this. He says, some individuals grow, or some individuals get older, and some mature. Uh-huh. So we need to look and see those individuals that we are helping versus enabling. is this individual mature enough and they're in a tight situation and I can help them out, and knowing that this was something that's outside of their control? Or is this just an old ass baby boy? When I mean old ass baby boy, somebody that's older, but they mind ain't wrapped around responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm talking to you or somebody you know, send them this and say, hey, get that fool out your attic. Or, hey, get your 35-year-old daughter, and watch this, and her kids, and her kids, right? Because listen, I've been seeing some 30-year-old nanas. Where that come from, who knows? But nevertheless, listen, stop enabling a certain thought process and a lifestyle, because the question is, and I want you guys to think about this, what's going to happen when you don't? What I mean by that, God forbid something happens to you and you have been helping someone for so long. They are an adult, but they are dependent on you. What's going to happen? Like, what type of contingency plan, if you will? Those out there that know anything about the military, y'all know contingency, or, redundant, right? But the question is, what do you do? Or what's going to happen when you can no longer sustain someone else's lifestyle? Are you planning, watch this, y'all, are you planning on stopping the buck or passing the buck to somebody else? Say, look, they can't do this. I'm gonna need you to look out for them. Look, you come on now, let's be real. You see, because look, sometimes we can pick up other folks' baggages and none of them clothes fit you. You dig? Hey, I'll say it one more time for those in the back. Sometimes you can pick up other folks' baggages and them clothes ain't yours.
They're not yours.
So which
I've been having to deal with this a little bit, so it's a little bit closer to me. But you have to at some point let grown people be grown people, and they have to feel the consequence of their actions. It has to hurt a little bit. You know what I mean? For them to understand, especially when they also have responsibility themselves. My daughter, I'll say, I'll be here to kind of support you, but she knows me that if you don't want to hear this lecture or you don't want to walk through these processes, you better figure it out, But if we keep doing it, we keep enabling them to continue to come back, to shirk their responsibilities, to not take responsibility for the things that they have done, and they continue to do it. Then we get mad about it, but then we be like, well, I can't let them just sit out there and be all this and all that. Guess what? They ain't gonna be homeless. They're gonna find somewhere to go. There's Section 8 housing, there's welfare, there's Medicaid, there's all these different services out there. They can go to the local, Chamber of Commerce, find out what businesses and services give out free food. And I'm not saying put people out. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if there's a will, there's a way.
Hey, that goes back to another thing. Listen, are you enabling a lazy fool? Because listen, I'm gonna put this back up. Shame on anybody that's living like this. Shame. If you know them, slap them 2 times. One for you and one for me. Look at this. Stop paying your 32-year-old son's child support, right? While he's still, in caps, having babies and not being responsible. Really? No. Yes, really. Because check it out. It happens even for the women. Why are you taking care of your daughter's kids, right? Because listen, to your point, your son don't want to go to jail. Okay, listen, let him not pay that child support. What's going to happen? You don't want him to go to jail, but he don't want to go to jail. So look here. What about this? Say, go ahead. Look, you don't want him to get you. Go on. You don't want him to do what you got to do. Okay? And watch this. How do I do that, Daddy? Google it. Look here. Go Google it. Because listen, I ain't paying your child support. Hey, you did it. I wasn't there. It wasn't mine. You ain't used mine. Okay? So you ain't using my money. You feel me?
Yes, and they make so many excuses as to why they can't, what is they just ain't able to do, and you think you are. See? Like, and that's your responsibility. Like, I don't get it. Like, you have to, you don't have to. It's a choice. But don't complain about it if you're doing it, if you're enabling, and if you know that, and if you're making excuses for the person's bad behavior, whether it's your son, your daughter, your grandchild, your sister, brother, mother, friend, whoever, if you continue to give into that thing. Stop complaining about it, because that's a choice that you make.
Yeah.
Just the same choice that you made to say, okay, I'll do this, is the same choice you can make. It takes the same energy to say, no, I won't.
Yes.
And you don't have to, again, like I said, that guilt trip they try to take you on, you don't got to go on a ride. You don't got to go on a journey. You can just simply jump off. Be like, I didn't do this. I didn't recklessly spend my money. I didn't go out there. I'm not going out there and buying all these things that I don't need. And now that I can't pay my rent, and then I expect somebody, that's not me. And so you have to pay the consequence for your choices. And it's okay. You ain't going to die because of it.
Hey,
you ain't going to die because of it.
But understand the point. You don't want to die.
You don't want to. So you're going to find.
Find a way. Listen, it's okay to listen. And I know people think that this is based off of your background, right? You may not think that this is a great way to teach a person how to swim. How they do it back in the day, y'all? What they do back in the day? Okay, listen, they take that person and say, hey, gone. What's the deal? You're going to sink or swim. I'm watching you. I don't want you to die, but you don't want to die. Even to family members, I don't want to watch you suffer, but I want to watch you work it out for yourself. Listen, if you got if you got all your limbs and common sense, you need to put that in motion so that you can get out the ocean. Listen, I'm not always going to be there to fish your crazy ass out. And then I'm going to get tired of it. Listen, why always have to be in this ocean with you? Listen, you see, watch this. Hey, watch it. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully y'all here and y'all enjoying yourselves. Give us some thumbs up and share this. The question is, why do I always have to be in a situation that I didn't create for you? Right? Why you keep pulling me? Hey, I want to go swimming, but you can't swim. No, nut. I don't want to go swimming. I can swim. I don't want to go swimming. Look, I don't want to babysit. Them ain't my kids. Look, and don't guilt me when they miss you. No, they don't. I don't even know them kids. I'm just saying. But you know what I'm saying? Stop that. Why you can't put individuals in a situation that they didn't create, and you did it. You feel me? Now, Camille, and ladies and gentlemen, those of you that's watching, have you been in that type of situation where people bring you to the situation that they created, and then you feeling worse than them? You're like, oh man, that just sounds terrible. Lord, wait, hold on. Listen, you was cool just 5 minutes ago until they called you. Now you in your mind trying to connect the dots to get them out of whatever situation they in. Has that ever happened to you, Camille, when your whole molecular structure changed because of food and they brought you in a silly ass reality?
More times than I ever cared to count. At this point in my life, though, I think it was Lily's point. I think it was Lily, maybe Ardrina. Ardrina. Okay. When she was talking about living in a neighborhood where community is full of enablers. You learn that stuff. You see, your mom and your grandmother raising everybody's kids, and this person's paying this bill to keep this person out of debt and everything. You see that, and so you continue to do it, and then you keep doing it, and you just like, I was up on one day, and then somebody come and bring that stuff, and I'm like, and then I feel obligated because that's the examples that I've constantly came to see, and then finally one day, thankfully, I got a wake up call, and when I started learning about thinking and about the mind and the power that I have within myself, I had to do some soul searching. And it's things like this that I was watching that said, hey, do I have to feel this way? Is that something I got? You mean I got a choice not to? You mean I could just say, okay, I hear what you're saying. You know what I mean? Give you some tools and I can go about my way and still be happy because it's not my situation. I don't have to take on the emotions of all of those people like we've seen it as beat down our communities for years and years and years. I can still say, okay, let me give you some tools or connect you with some people. That's the better thing. Or connect you with some people that might be able to help you. And I can continue to go on about my day and still feel good. You know what I mean? So it took a long time. But when we see that constantly, and I think that it's a lack of awareness for us. We have this village mentality. But sometimes I think we take that a little bit out of context.
I think you're right. And there, ladies and gentlemen, that's a great point too. We do have that village personality and concept, but you realize when you're taking care of the village idiot.
Right.
Come
right.
on now. Realize there's one in every corner.
Yeah.
Hey, there's one everywhere. So close the door. All right. He'll be okay. Because look, he gonna find somebody, but that somebody don't got.
It doesn't have to be you. And then if you create an awareness amongst other people, your family members, talking to them about it, your children, challenging their thought process, their choices, making them feel the consequence. So, and I always tell my kids every time we talk about, there are intended and unintended consequences. Have you thought about both? If you know that this could happen, that there's a possibility that this can happen. And are you ready for either consequence? And so when we learn, we have those conversations, and then more people in our village will be like, we're not going to support the village idiot anymore. And then the village idiot might either have to figure it out or may have to go to another village.
Hey, and have to move. Let's shout out to what Lily said. She said, be prepared to ostracize and distance. When you start saying no. Sometimes you lose people if they don't want growth and can no longer eat off of you. And listen, that's fine. But see, sometimes all the time. I was about to say sometimes that's the best thing for him. And look, ladies out there, those of you, but y'all gonna pick up what I'm put down. Okay, I'm not gonna say ladies. I'm gonna say the men's. All right, brothers. Listen, there comes a time when we have to stop enabling people. Okay, we have to stop doing that and be a good steward of our time and our intellectual knowledge, if that makes sense, right? Our property. And so it's easy. It can be easy for us because we can kind of compartmentalize, but just for the sake of argument, let's talk about the females just a little bit. And it's harder. It's harder if there isn't a lot of help with that. But the deal is that women and men too, we have to be able to remove the umbilical cord, if that makes sense, right? You remove the umbilical cord and you also remove the milk. You understand? Pull it out their mouth. They'll be okay, especially if they grown, they know how to get some more milk. Okay, but listen, you don't want to go dry. You know what I'm saying? Because you need your own nourishment, if that makes sense. But you got to understand when to cut it off. And people going to get mad. And it's unfortunate when you say no. You say no one time, and they look at you. Watch how people act when you say, "No, I'm straight. I can't do that." Watch how they act. If they get out of line, that means they are not prepared to do things on their own, or they're not prepared, or they don't respect you enough to respect your time and to respect the no. So when you do say no, ladies and gentlemen, watch that individual. If they say, you know what, nope, you're right, my fault, it was just a relapse, and I appreciate you even listening, versus really, word, that's where we at, a word, okay, all right, I'll remember that. No, I really want you to remember it. No, seriously.
So you don't come back.
Hey, take a picture, right? Remember 2 times, write it down. But you get what I'm saying? Yeah. What do you think about that, ladies and gentlemen? Even, those that's watching right now, have you had to say no, and did the relationship change after no? Yeah. Have that ever happened to you, Camille, where the relationship changed after you had to cut them off?
Absolutely. It's happened to me several times. And to Lily's part, I had to learn, because at first I was explaining away. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't even ask me what was going on with me. And I don't have it right now. Yes, you see all these things or whatever, but I don't have it. Then I was like, you don't even care anyway. Like, so I'm not going to explain. I'm not going to waste my time. And I was okay. And I'm like, you know what? I see who you are, and I'm going to keep you where you are. You know what I mean? And then to her other point, that lightened the load for me, like Richard says, but to Lily's point, they cut off. They want to act something. You lose the friendship, you lose the relationship, but guess what? It makes room for people who are really on your side, who really care about your well-being. Sometimes we got so many people in our circle that are toxic to us, that are leeching off of us, that suck our energy dry, but that's what we're used to. And we just keep them around. But when they start, you start setting those boundaries and they start, removing themselves and you cut them off, it makes room for better people to enter your life that will lighten the load for you instead of putting everything on you. That will sometimes say, hey, can I help you out? Is there something that you need from me? I see you doing all these things and juggling these things. Let me do something to lighten the load. It also keeps a little bit more money. You guys have families. Ain't nobody paying for your family, but they want to take from your family. Every time you lend out money or things, you're taking away from your own livelihood. And you don't have to do that. That trip that you've been, trying to go on, all the look, I told you, them 100,000 that I done loaned out, I could have been traveling all around the world. I'll never get that money back. But, I'm doing better now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that meme that goes around. It's like $300 for, a Louis purse or whatever, this and this and that. But you could, if you want to go on a trip, you always going on trips. Yeah, but you got them J's that cost $200. I know some a lot of people like J's out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking it if you can afford it. But you got them J's. You got this Louis. You got this Christian. You got this all this and all that you want to flaunt, but you ain't even been outside of your hometown. Don't be mad at me about that. If you just stop doing that one thing, don't buy that one purse, you can get you a cruise over a weekend and go see something outside of them four walls that you got, for $300.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
It is a mindset. And unfortunately, sometimes we can't teach people how to change their mindset. But of course, like we've said before, and then someone mentioned earlier, we can teach people how to treat us. So, but your standards, ladies and gentlemen, is what's going to teach people to treat you. So if your standard is a 2-foot fence and somebody keep hopping over it, who fault is that? Listen, they're made to jump. You're right. They're made to just walk over it, right? So it's your responsibility to bring it on up, right? Put some barbed wire around that mug, make it uncomfortable. You did. Yes. I mean, you really need to set that standard so they look at it. Nah, I ain't gonna come at them like that because they know it's gonna be some work. Like you said, you got those whys. All right. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna ask another one. I say, hey, well, how you get there in the first place?
Really? I always.
How you get it? And look, I'm like, where? I'm gonna get so deep into it. It's gonna change the whole conversation. Then they're gonna feel like, you know what? I should have did this better. You should have done this better. And then they're gonna leave still without getting nothing. You ain't getting nothing from me.
Look, you got some knowledge.
Hey, got some knowledge. Hey, but got the money in your pocket. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Listen, we got some time. We want to make sure that you guys call in, right? The number is below 618-792-6747. We'd love to hear a time when you woke up, right? You woke up and say, hold on, I'm enabling a grown-ass man or woman. You are, or in a relationship, somebody that I've been holding on to for 30 years. And listen, they still ain't got their mind together. They ain't got it right. 30 years. Hey, well, and guess what? We're going into a new year. Might be 31 years. Come on now. Hey, now. That's what I'm saying. But y'all listen.
Help them, Lord, help them.
But for real, though, because we're doing that. And again, the thing is, what we do, we have the love for them to say, boy, they just need to get right. They just need to get. But I ask yourself, how many times have you been saying that? Hold on. We got a caller.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, hello.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing today?
Hey.
In the building. What's up, bro?
Yo, hey, man. First off, y'all, excellent show this morning. I take a lot of credit for it for me being in the comments, but y'all look good too. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
Hey, talking about enabling, man, I think that a lot of us military folks, I mean, I speak for military folks because, that's what we're in, but I'm pretty sure they have this in the civilian sector too. We're bad at that when we don't tell people the truth about their performance and who they are. When people come to you and complain to you about, hey, such and such, man, you know what I'm saying? They probably just racist against me or whatever reason they come to you about why they feel like they're being treated a certain way. And we tell them, you know what? Yeah, man, you're probably right. Instead of telling the truth, like, nah, man, if you look at the performance, you know what I'm saying? They kind of validate what they're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a whole nother way of enabling, you know what I'm saying? Even in that aspect, it's not always money. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just the advice you give them and you let them know that you got to tell them the truth about themselves sometimes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Yo, I appreciate
Excellent
that. You
point.
know what, man? And I appreciate you, A, for calling, but B, we and I know we talk often, but that is something that individuals don't really want to have. Like they want to listen, it's like I'm going to be the hero in every story. You understand?
Right.
And everybody else has tried to do me wrong. So I need you to show alliance by telling me what I want to hear, not the truth. Because watch this. And we know people like this. As soon as I tell you, listen, you see that on the ground, that's yours, and it smell like yours. You understand?
Right.
That's why you in this situation. The conversation get real short, quick. And you know what? Let me go. I got to go walk my fish. I'll be right back. You ain't got no fish. You mad? See? But yo, shout out, man. Hey, thanks
Thank
for
you.
calling.
It's like
Yeah.
the way you know that you're not helping them out is when you hang up that phone or you leave that conversation with them. You think in your head, man, that dude dumb as hell. Or that one dumb as hell. But you didn't tell them to their face though. You know what I mean? Hey, y'all be easy, all right?
All right.
Thank you, Herm. But that's true. That's so
Yeah.
true. And I'm gonna tell you, it's kind of like kids though, because I'm that honest person now. You know, well, I guess I've always been. But I'm like, okay, tell me what you did or didn't do. You know, do you know? And then when people, well, they didn't deserve this. Well, what did you do to deserve it? Do you know what they did on the back end? And I would hold people to the fire and accountable for that. And I would sit there and I'm like, okay, we need to sit and talk this out. Did you know X, Y, or did you know, could you have done better? And they're like, yeah. And then the other thing is when they get upset, I used to have a saying that I always say, when you get over yourself, I'll still be here. If you need me, I'll be here, know, which means go home, sit on that for a minute, think about it. I still love you. I'm going to do my job as your supervisor. I'm going to take care of you, but I'm also going to tell you the truth in love, and let you, because I want you to be better.
Yeah.
I want you to be better. And I want you to know that I see what's going on. And you can't just get away with piss poor performance and expect to be rewarded for it. No, you can't. You did not do everything that you were supposed to.
And I love that. And so, and ladies and gentlemen, I ain't gonna get too deep into this, but we need to let individuals know only if they're coming to us for any type of advice. Right now, listen, if they're coming to you for any type of advice or based off of what they want and you see where they're at, if they truly want your advice, you're gonna, and listen, y'all might have to ask them 2 to 3 times. Listen, do you really want the truth? You dig? Like, do you really want the truth? Because hold on, y'all, look here, some of that truth might knock you down a couple of pegs. You see, look, some of this truth I'm about to drop on your ass might kind of make you reevaluate some things. Now, understand, I asked you, do you want this? Because I'm going to give it to you with love, but I'm giving you ether. Ladies and gentlemen, ether is like that fire, truth. Because I have to be willing to take it, but you also have to be willing to accept it from me if this is what you want. Now, again, the reason why I say ask a couple of times, because let a person give them the opportunity to say, I just want to vent. So I say, okay, cool, because you don't want to hear the truth and I can just dance with you. But what you're not going to do is expect me to play in your reality. You dig? And ask me, look, I really want to know, how can I do this? Well, your work ethic is basic. Or the energy that you put into things is 30% and you're looking for 100. Okay, let's be real. You feel me now? Again, you got to be able to have that type of conversation. But if not, you are, to Herm's point, you are enabling an individual if you can't give them that truth. If they want it, but be prepared. They may not want it. Give them the opportunity. But not, you just need to cut that conversation off, because they will keep coming to you to get that false validation.
And that's why I don't even dance. Even if they just want to be heard, I don't dance with them. I just listen. Yeah, like if you want me to listen, that's what because I'm not going to give you any indication that I agree with that, because I don't, So you can say what you want to say, but at the end of the day, people know when they haven't done. I had a conversation with somebody else, and I'm like, "Did you really do everything that you could do?" It was like, "Yeah." No, you didn't, because you know the difference between your 100% and your 50% and your 30%. You're going to tell me that you was at 100% all this time, and it was like, well, no, exactly. I'm not going to co-sign on, you know, your mess. But then I found too that it's like people are like kids, you know, they really want structure. They buck against the rules, but they want structure. They want somebody to discipline them because it shows that they genuinely care about them. And I had a troop through, he was going through some things and he came back and he said, you know, he didn't like me for a long time. Well, I had a couple of them, but he didn't like me for a long time. But he came back, he said, Sir Thomas, I just want you to tell me this because I know of all people, you will tell me the truth about myself. And he says, am I wrong in this? And I said, well, no, but there are some things that you could have done differently or done this way or whatever. And he was like, I knew you would give me your honest opinion. He was like, I know that you care. He was like, I didn't always like it. I didn't like it back then. You know, he was like, but I've grown and I understand how important it is. And I really value your opinion. So he would come to me. And another guy came to me and was like, you know, 5 years I've held this grudge for you because of what you said. I wasn't this and this and that. He goes, but I get it now. He was like, and you were trying to get me to grow and trying to move me. And you kept telling me that if I wanted these things, then I had to do them. And he said, and I fought against it for so long. He was like, and then here I am. He goes, and I get it now. And I just want to say thank you. And he was like, can I give you a hug? And I was like, he's not a hugging person. So I was like, okay,
because
sure, you know.
because you touch something. And ladies and gentlemen, it's about that. Being able to, and I've said this before, but that honesty with compassion, right? Without compassion is brutality. So be willing, like Herm was talking about, having that mentor that you can talk to, that's going to give you that truth. But you got to understand that person is giving you the truth because they truly care about you. But then not only do they care about you, they care about their own self, because I ain't gonna spend all day talking to an idiot. Meaning, not saying you're an idiot, but a person that wants to include me in their delusion. Y'all, listen. Look, you got some folks. Listen, I'm sorry, y'all. I promise you. I promise you, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all understand this is a sanity check, and this hopefully this is resonating with you all, right? But you have individuals that this 2020, right? We had a pandemic. They've been in their house forever in their mind, right? But they're creating their own reality, okay? Because they ain't been out playing, you see. So now that they have their own reality, they want to include you in it. But see, their reality ain't real, you see, because things still happen. So, but you need to be on the outside of it, say, wait a minute, this fool lost his mind. He thinks that everybody else is the problem. Wait, listen, look, she thinks all men is bad because all of them did this. But now, self, I'm thinking, what you think, self? Thinking, why is it that every time she finds somebody, they do the same thing, but then she come and talks to me about it? Like, I need to support her, say, yeah, girl, you right. Come on now. So be weary of enabling individuals' delusional thought process. Say, hey, you crazy because you did this and this and this and this. And listen, not only you've been doing it, you've been doing it for years. You've been doing it for so long, you don't even know you're doing it no more. You understand? Look, you've been doing it for so long, you can teach other people how to do it. But that's not reality.
Yes. I just tell them, I've learned to say, I listen and I'm like, I hear you, but I don't agree. Or I hear you, but I'm not really feeling that. Or I hear you because, they in their things, but I'm hearing something else too. God has gifted me with this. I can hear what isn't said. I don't take that lightly. And so I pay attention to those things, the body language, those certain keywords, that emotion. And when they're in conflict, I'm like, I see what your mouth is saying. I hear what your mouth is saying, but it does not go with the reality of the situation.
Yes.
And so here are some things that we need to talk about. So I start asking questions, and questions that will challenge their thoughts. And, you're trying to justify. And then I'd be like, okay, are you trying to tell me or convince me? Or you're convincing you? You trying to convince me or convince yourself? And we can have those conversations. But when we do, it is making people see. And that's why even when people ask me like, well, what happened to all these? What did this person do? I give them my side of the story because I am responsible for my choices. And even if other people did some things, it was because I stayed and I allowed it. Or, I didn't stand up to do whatever. So I always never was like, well, you real honest about like, you just take responsibility. No, I know that I can only take responsibility for my part in it.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna tell you that part, you
Yeah.
know. And so I try to challenge people to do the same. You
Mhm.
know, what did you do or didn't you do? Or what did you allow? What didn't you allow? Did you
Right.
do these things? You know what I mean? I know this was what happened, but in this situation, tell me about you.
Mhm.
You know, and put that back on them to take personal responsibility about it. And that goes for the enabler, and that goes for those that are enabling or codependent. Why do you continue to do when you know better? When
That's
you
right.
know that this person is using you, when you feel it, it's probably because your gut is telling you it's true. You already
Absolutely.
know. You want somebody else to validate it so you can say it, but you don't need anybody else. You can validate it yourself, and you can put a stop to whatever it is that you continue to do to help them or
Yeah.
enable them. You know,
That's right. That's
So-
right. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we love you, and we appreciate you guys being on. We was talking about the helping versus enabling and the difference with that. So just key notes. Just remember, set boundaries. Learn to be okay to see people struggle. They'll be all right. They don't want to stay there for long. You dig?
Yeah.
Let them get uncomfortable. All right. And then it's okay to tell them to Google it. It's okay. Right? They got a smartphone and don't even pay the bill. Right? You're probably paying the bill that they can get the information to get out of the situation that they're in. Right on, right on.
Right
But
on.
with that, we will make sure that we see you all next week, same time. And again, it's at AM, not PM if y'all got the wrong information. But we see y'all soon. Later.